So now, when did you decide that you wanted to start the process for home ownership?
The beginning of this year, actually. That was, I guess you could say, my New Year's resolution. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna be 35 this year. Like, it's time.
Right.
Yeah. So I had to get the ball rolling, and that's when
Okay.
I found you guys. So it worked out.
Awesome. Awesome. And then that was gonna be my next thing. So now, how did you find out about 850 Club and Park Place Realty?
So we were friends on Facebook, and then we have a mutual friend, Jessica and Lance. So
Yep.
I believe I added you from them. So, and I just been watching you guys over the past 6 months or so, and I was like, okay, so you guys was hosting a seminar, and because of the
Yep.
COVID, you did it online. So I was like, okay, and I attended that. And I was like, okay, it's time.
Yep. Yep. That's good, man. That's good. All right. What's crazy is that, man, if there was no COVID, we were on pace to have the largest home buying event we ever had. We had 250 people pre-registered. Didn't expect everybody to show up, but at least somewhere between 150 to 200 people. And we become a big deal as far as home ownership and getting the job done. That's always the goal, is getting the job done. So all right. So now, how did you feel when we told you? Because of course you thought you may need it, a few more points on the scoring side. And then we found out that, hey, you're actually there. A couple things we got to take care of, but for the most part, you were there. How did it feel to find out that you were essentially qualified for homeownership?
It felt good just because personally, I tried to do a few things for myself, trying to clear up the credit and everything. And when you told me that, I was just like, man, I actually did it.
Yeah.
So that actually helped out a lot. So I was happy to hear that. Like, okay, now we can really get the ball rolling. So
Yeah. Yeah. There we go. Exactly. And that's the thing. A lot of people, feel the same way that you did, where they're not sure. They're not sure if there's anything they have to do or how close they are, how far they are. And I talk to people all the time, and they say things like, well, man, I want to do this 2 years from now, a year from now, whatever. And I'm like, no, like, you're closer than you think. Or even if you're further away, we can help you. And I'm glad that you gave us, an opportunity to not only kind of get to the end result, but to obviously just see where you are. And that's what I like about it, is that, is that you had an opportunity to kind of baby step it. And we just kind of just slowly went from there. All right.
yeah.
So, of course, you were deciding between a single family and a multi-unit. Now, what made you make the decision between going from a single family to a 2-unit?
The decision actually was our first conversation. So one of the questions was like, hey, are you looking for a multi-unit or a single family? And I was like, hey, I really wanted to lean towards this multi-unit versus the single family, but either one is fine. And you just, it's like, hey, I have this property that's about to hit the market. So it went from there.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, all right. And, that's the thing, is that a lot of people don't know, how that transpired. And, just a quick story before I kind of go into it. A friend of mine I went to college with had posted, it was around February, and he had posted like, hey, because of COVID, short version was, he was saying how this is a great time, to take advantage of all the opportunities that are out there that many may not see. Stocks are down, great time to buy. Real estate, is starting to fluctuate. It's a great time to buy. And he had mentioned that he had 2 properties, that he was rehabbing. And me taking, the further steps, I said, man, it would be nice what these properties look like before everybody else, started looking at it. And I reached out to him. I hit him up in his inbox and said, hey, what's the addresses, what's the information, things of that sort. And I said, okay, cool. This may be something that, could work for you. And sure enough, I went ahead and gave you the address. What was the feeling, or, how did you feel when you found out the address I had told you that my friend was rehabbing the building?
Oh my God, I had chills, like literally about to cry. Like, it was just, the feeling was just overwhelming. I don't think I ever felt that way before.
Yeah.
But it was definitely like, you didn't even say the full address. You just said it's on what block. And I was like,
Oh,
are
yeah.
you
Yeah.
kidding me? And I
Yeah.
gave you the story behind it. He was
Yeah.
like, wait a minute, let me give you the address. And sure enough, that's
Yeah.
when I was like, okay.
Yeah. Perfect. And you know what? That's another thing I meant to ask you too. you don't have to go too deep into detail. I know,
Mhm.
family business, but now what was, you would say like a short version of essentially what happened between, your family owning the building, specifically your grandparents, and then them making the ultimate decision to selling it.
Okay, so actually, the building was originally bought in 1967 from my grandparents. So
Okay.
my grandfather passed away 2 years ago. So it
Okay.
was up to my grandmother to keep the building, and essentially she decided to sell it because it became too much of a hassle for her. But
Yeah.
in that time period, I personally wasn't in a position of purchasing from her. So just so happened your friend, the realtor, I'm sorry, the seller, he
Yeah.
actually bought it from her.
Yeah.
So it kind of worked out. So from there, I thought it was gone for good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you in the first conversation that we had,
Yeah.
and that was the actual first property that you told me about, and
Yeah.
I was just like, oh my God, I don't know. I'm like, this is God.
Yeah.
So when you told me that, I was like, this God, I gotta act on it.
Yeah.
it it's a must.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
Crazy. What are the
it
chances,
really
right?
is. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So it's
Yeah.
it's it's been amazing.
Awesome. Awesome. And then now, did your grandparents, they purchased it in 1967 or they bought it before then?
I want to say 1967. My grandmother's here right now, so
Got wow. Okay.
she is. But I want to say because they said my mom was a couple months, and she was born in December of '66, so it
Yeah.
had to be in '67.
All right.
So
Got you. Okay.
yeah.
That's amazing because we know there's a lot of family between you and your grandparents, cousins, aunties, uncles, things of
Yes.
that sort. And for you to be in that position, of course, not at the time, but everything worked out because you would have bought a building and had to get things done, and then,
Yeah.
yeah, to go into that. Now, how did you feel when you saw the work of I would say the end result, when you saw that everything was completely renovated in your grandmother's building?
I was in tears. I was shocked.
Wow.
I was in tears. I was happy. The transformation was great.
Yeah.
Like when I tell you it looked the same way when we left it from probably when they bought the building, when we
Yeah.
actually left it in from now, it's amazing.
Wow.
It really is amazing.
Wow. Yeah. There you go, man. I'm so excited for you because the chances of stuff like this happening, with, the building being your grandparents, the price point being where the pre-approval was, the numbers working out for the seller and the buyer.
Mhm.
Because of COVID, a lot of people lost their income or lost their hours. Nothing changed with yours. I mean, there's so
No.
things that could have went left, and this was one of the smoothest deals I've had
Overall
this
experience.
year. What was the experience like, working with, of course, I know with 850 Club, it was a short time. You were able to, talk to, our representatives, and then of course find out that you were pre-qualified, already, and then of course going into Parklands. What was the experience like working with both companies?
It was phenomenal. Everybody was great customer service. I recommend you guys 100%. Very informational. Even to still go forward with the process,
Yeah.
or just with upcoming things that I probably have questions or concerns with. You guys are on the ball with that and offering more services on how to do certain things, or maybe refinance a vehicle. So great. My experience was great.
Good, good, good. Well, listen, I'm so glad you took out the time, to do this interview. And you again, I know, usually when we post about, someone buying a building or buying property in general, we post it up there. But man, this story, I wanted to do something special, for this particular reason, because man, people buy properties all the time, but I mean, for this to line up the way it did, it was destined to be. It most definitely was destined to be. So, but thank you so much. We greatly appreciate you doing business with, both of our companies, making everything happen. And yeah, how does it feel now to be a landlord?
It feels amazing. That's all I keep saying. Everything is
Right.
amazing.
Good. Good. It's gonna feel better when the first of the month come around. Okay.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. All right, Kesha. Thank you so much for your time. Okay.
Thank you guys. I really appreciate everything.
Awesome. All right. You have a good one.
You too. Take care.